Okay, students, now we'll do critical angle and total internal reflection. Now, what is a critical angle for a pair of media? In fact, it's for a pair of media. Now, critical angle for a pair of media. Now, why it is pair? Because refraction always occurs when light travels from one medium to another medium. So, there is always two medium related. And out of that two medium, one is the denser medium and another is the rarer medium. Now, what is that? Critical angle. It is the angle of incidence in the denser medium corresponding to which the angle of refraction in the rarer medium is 90 degree. That means it is such an angle of incidence but at the denser medium, such that the angle of refraction in the rarer medium will be equal to 90 degree. Now, try to understand here. Now, suppose this is a denser medium and this is a rarer medium. Now, denser medium say it's glass, rarer medium say it's air. Now, suppose at a particular angle of incidence, now this is a particular angle of incidence, this is the normal and this is the angle of refraction, refracted ray. So this is the angle of incidence. Suppose a certain angle of incidence and corresponding angle of refraction is this. Okay. Now, if I increase the angle of incidence, then here also the angle of refraction will increase like this, because it will always go away from normal. So this is R2. So you can understand, as we increase the angle of incidence, the angle of refraction is increasing. Again, if I increase, it will increase more, and at a certain point, to a certain angle of incidence, the ray of light will just get out from the surface in this way. So try to understand that at this position, when the angle of incidence is equal to this much, then the rays of light are going in this way. In that case, we can say that the angle of refraction in this case R equals to 90 degree. Then this angle is known as critical angle. This angle is known as critical angle for that pair of media. Now, it is the critical angle of the denser medium. Now, for example, if I say critical angle for glass, the normal glass, that is 42 degree. That means what? Now, suppose this is glass. And this is air. Now, if the ray of light inside glass traveling in such a way that the angle of incidence is equal to 42 degree, then the ray of light, the refracted ray, will follow this path. So it will get out from this path. And in that case, I can say that R equals to 90 degree. Understand? So we say that critical angle for glass to air. So that means if I say critical angle of glass 42, that means with respect to air, unless mentioned. So therefore we say critical angle for glass is 42 degree. Similarly, critical angle for water is 48 degree. Critical angle for diamond is very less, very small, 24 degree. Okay, so this is about critical angle. Okay. Okay, now we'll see the relationship between refractive index and critical angle for a pair of media. What is the relationship between them? Now, suppose this is the denser medium and this is rarer medium. Again, take an example. Denser medium as glass and rarer medium as air. And we know that critical angle for glass is 42 but I am just taking the relationship between any medium. So just an example. So therefore I can take, let this critical angle be IC. Okay, let us now let us just think denser and rarer. I am just taking out glass and air. So it can be for any denser medium to any rarer medium. Now suppose the critical angle for the denser medium is this much, IC. Then the refracted ray will go in this direction, and therefore I say this R equals to 90 degree. Now we know, according to Snell's law, if I get sine I by sine R, that is actually is equal to 1 mu 2. That means it is the refractive index of the second medium with respect to first. Here denser medium is the first medium and the rarer medium is the second medium. Now here sine I means actually IC, therefore I can say sine IC, and sine R is actually sine 90 degree, and that is equal to, it is d mu R, because now we are getting the refractive index of the second medium with respect to first. So here the second medium is the rarer medium and the first medium is denser medium. So we say sine IC by sine 90 is equal to d mu R, that is the refractive index of the rarer medium with respect to denser medium. And therefore I can say sine IC by 1, sine 90 is 1, is equal to d mu R, right? But I require to find what? I require to find the refractive index of denser medium. And we know, according to principle of reversibility of light, they are reciprocal with each other. So that means if d mu R is sine IC, therefore I can say that R mu d will be equals to 1 by sine IC. So this is the relationship. So this is the relationship between this, or we can also say that R mu d is equal to cosec IC. Okay, understand? Now for example, let us take the example of glass and air. That means I can say that A mu g refractive index. Now critical angle for glass, again you know critical angle for glass is 42 degree. Then I can say that A mu g is 1 by sine 42 degree. So 1 by sine 42 degree, or we can say cosec 42 degree, and if I calculate the values, that I will get as approximately 1.5. You know that the refractive index of glass with respect to air is 1.5 and the critical angle for glass is 42 degree. So therefore I can say refractive index of glass with respect to air is 1 by sine 42 or cosec 42, and approximately we will get the value as 1.5. Understand? So this is the relationship between refractive index and critical angle. Okay. Okay, now next is total internal reflection. Now what is that? It is a phenomenon in which a ray of light, when passing from a denser medium to a rarer medium, is incident in such a way such that the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle for the pair of media, and the ray of light, instead of refracting, reflects back into the denser medium. That is the first medium, and this is known as total internal reflection. Okay. Now see here. Now suppose this is a denser medium and this is a rarer medium. You know that whenever a ray of light is passing from a denser to rarer medium, then it will bend away from normal. So this is the angle of refraction, and Now if I take a larger angle of incidence in such a way such that it is equal to critical angle, so I see, now the ray of light will travel in this direction, 90 degree, r equals to 90 degree. But now if I take a greater angle which is greater than the critical angle, now you can understand how the rays of light were moving. It was moving downward. I am increasing this angle of incidence. It is moving in this way. Again I am increasing. It is moving in this way. Again I have done equal to critical angle. Then the ray of light become 90 degree. And now again if I increase it more than critical angle, now the ray of light reflects back into the same medium. And now you can see, now there is no refraction taking place. It is reflection taking place. And this phenomenon is called total internal reflection. What understand? So this is known as total internal reflection. Now from this definition and the phenomenon, I can understand there are two conditions necessary for this to happen. So total internal reflection does not occur every time. So there are two conditions necessary for the total internal reflection. The first and the most important condition is that the ray of light should travel from a denser medium to rarer medium. So it should travel from denser medium to rarer medium. And the second is, naturally you can understand, the ray of light should incident in such a way such that the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle. So that means angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle. So these are the two phenomenon two conditions necessary for a total internal reflection. Okay, it's a very important. Okay, now is total internal reflection in an isosceles right angle prism. Okay, we'll see some examples of total internal reflection, and we'll use an isosceles right angle prism. So it's 90 degree, 45 prism. So 90 degree is the main angle of prism. Now the first application is that we can deviate a ray of light by 90 degree. That means we can deviate the ray of light by 90 degree. That means we can deviate the ray of light in this way. So that means we can deviate a ray of light by 90 degree by using this concept of total internal reflection. Now for this we will take the right angled isosceles prism in this way. We will keep, this is the angle of prism, 90 degree. Okay, and as usual I told you, this is 45 degree and this is 45 degree. Now suppose it's a extended source of light, or it's an object, then the rays of light from this object will be bent in 90 degree and the image will be formed here. Now let us take two rays to explain. Now suppose a ray of light falls on the surface of the prism in this way, but as you know it's falling 90 degrees, so it will go undeviated and it will go straight. And now this is the normal, and you can understand this is 90, is a 90 corresponding 45, so this will be 45, and since this is the normal, so this full is 90 is this side, so out of 90 this is 45, so again this angle becomes 45. Now this angle is 45, you can understand this is the incident ray and this is the normal, so this becomes the angle of incidence. And you remember critical angle for glass is equal to 42 degree, and here the angle of incidence is 45 degree, so that means it is greater than the critical angle. Now what will happen, the ray of light will not get out, will not refract, but it will reflect. And you know, in case of reflection, angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So therefore if this is 45, then this will reflect at 45 degree angle. And when it comes on this surface, again it's falling 90, so it will go straight. Okay, so this is one ray, you can understand it has bent 90 degree. And so we can also explain in this other ray. We'll take another ray of light like this, again same, this is 90 normal, so again this is 45, so this becomes 45 angle of incidence, so it gets reflected by 45, and the ray of light comes out, and you can see the whole beam of light is in fact deviated by 90 degrees. So you can understand 45, 45, 90, 45, so it's deviating by 90 degree. And if you see the ray of light of A is this one, so we make it A dash, and for B it is this one, we make it B dash, and the object appears like this. Here also you can see the object, the image of the object has shifted 90 degrees, so it is 90 degree. So this is the to deviate a ray of light by 90 degree by using the concept of total internal reflection. And what is the application of this system? Where we use this application, we use in a periscope. Okay, so we use in a periscope. Okay. And you know, in a periscope we use sometimes plane mirror also, but always remember that the image formed in a prism is due to total internal reflection, but image formed in a plane mirror is due to normal reflection. And the image formed in a total internal reflection is always much brighter than the image formed in a normal reflection. Why? Because in a normal reflection, if you see normal reflection, now suppose this is a mirror and this is an object. When ray of light falls, the light gets reflected, but 100% of the light is not getting reflected. Some part of the light, say 10 or 20% of the light gets refracted, some get absorbed, and only the remaining part, say 70% or 60%, if I say, it gets reflected. And it is due to this reflected ray of light the image is formed here. So that's the object and this is the image. So this is a normal reflection. But in case of total internal reflection, what happens? The 100% light gets reflected, and therefore the image that is formed is always much brighter. So if you use a periscope by using a prism, then the image will be much brighter than a normal plane mirror. So to deviate a ray of light by 90 degree, we do this way, and the application, one of the application is periscope. Okay. Okay, now is to deviate a ray of light by 180 degree. Ray of light by 180 degree means light will enter in this way and we will deviate the light in the opposite direction. That's 180 degree. Now for this we will keep the prism in this way. Okay, that same isosceles right angle prism, and suppose the object is this, we'll keep the object in this way. Now a ray of light will go straight, and it will fall in this phase, go straight, you know. Now this is the normal here. Again you see this is for 45, this is 90, and this is 45. So naturally this is 45. So this is the incident ray and this is the normal. So angle of incidence is 45. Again greater than 42. That's the critical angle for glass. And now it will reflect. It will not get out. So there will be total internal reflection. It will reflect, and angle of reflection will also be equal to 45. So it will bend in this way. And when it comes to on this surface, so again this is the normal, this is 45, this is 45 corresponding. Again this is 45, then this becomes 45. So this is the incident ray for this part. This is the normal, so this becomes the angle of incidence, again greater than 42. So it will reflect at 45 degree. So it is reflecting at 45 degree. And when it comes on this surface, again falling 90 degrees, so it's coming straight. Okay. So we'll take another ray of light, say this way. The same thing will happen here also. So it will go like this, again and again it will come in this way. Okay, understand? And so this is AB. So now since I am doing in freehand, but all the shape, size and all this distance will be equal. So when you practice the diagram, you just draw it properly with ruler and pencil and all. So now you can see the ray of light entering this way and they are coming out in this way. So it's 180 degree deviation. And if you see the ray of light from A is this, so we write A dash, and B is this, we write B dash. So the image appears this. So I can say this is the object and this is the image. So image is also shifted by 180 degrees. So this is how we deviate a ray of light by 180 degree. Okay, so now this application here, we use this concept in prism binoculars. Okay, in a system, it is one of the system of the prism binocular. So this is the direct application of that. Okay. Okay, now another application is self-erecting prism. Now self-erecting prism means in fact it is used to erect an inverted image. So when the image is inverted but we want to see as erect image, we use this concept. It is generally used in slide projector because in a slide projector we use a convex lens. Convex lens forms a real and inverted image. But when we use a projector, you can see the image that we see on the screen. It is an erect image because in that projector there is a self-erecting prism which converts that inverted image into an erect image. Understand? So let's see how. Now in this case we'll keep the prism in this way. Again 90 degree prism. Now suppose this is the object, the inverted object. Say this is A and this is B. Now here also the ray of light say will go straight in this way, but as usual this is normal, and rarer to denser. Now the ray of light is traveling from rarer to denser, so it will bend towards the normal. Towards the normal means it will bend inward. So it will bend inward. Now since it is bending towards the normal inward, when it falls on the other surface, it forms a large angle of incidence. Now this large angle of incidence is actually greater than 42 degree. That's the critical angle of glass. And since it falls at a greater angle, greater than 42 degree, the ray of light does not refract, it reflects due to total internal reflection and comes to this surface. Again this is the normal, and now it will go away from normal. So in fact it will go away from normal, so it bends in this way. Okay. Now another ray, again straight like this. Again rarer to denser, bending towards the normal, and hence forming a large angle of incidence which is greater than 42. So again it is reflecting, and on this surface again it bent in such a way such that it goes away from normal. So like this it gets diffracted. So understand? So here you can see that on this base the total internal reflection is occurring. And now if you look at the ray of light from A, that's we can say the head of the inverted image, head, it comes here, A dash and B goes here. So now you can see that the inverted image has been erected, and therefore this is called self-erecting prism, and it is used in one of the application is slide projector. Okay, so that's the application of total internal reflection. Okay. Okay. Now we'll talk about some natural consequence of total internal reflection. The first is that the empty test tube shines brightly in water. Second is diamond sparkles very brightly, you know, is very bright and sparkles very much. And the reason is that it has a very low critical angle, very less critical angle, 24 degrees, small critical angle you can say. And the third is the mirage in desert. Mirage means, you know, in an impression of false water body. Impression of false water bodies. Now, although the description of this explanation of this is not in ICSE syllabus, but still I'll explain you. It's necessary to understand the concept of total internal reflection. Now, the first is that the empty test tube shines brightly in water. Okay, now suppose a vessel contains water and we take a test tube which is empty. That means it has air inside it. And now if I partially dip this test tube inside, means not full, because when you dip full then water will get inside the test tube. Now here there is no water in the test tube, only it is air. Then you will see that this test tube sparkles much brighter than normally the test tube sparkles. Why? It is again due to total internal reflection. Now try to understand when a person can see this test tube. You know, from the concept of reflection, that whenever a light falls, means strikes a surface and reflects to the eye of the observer, then only we can see that object. Now on this test tube, infinite rays of lights are falling and they are reflecting, and therefore the person can see this object. But you know, whichever rays of light, you know, for critical angle for water is more or less equals to 48 degree. That means what? Only the rays of light which is falling to an angle less than 48. Now suppose this ray of light is falling and this is the normal and this is less than 48, say 36 degree. Then what will happen? Refraction will occur, so light will enter this way and then again it can exit this way, and some part of the light will reflect. Only some minimum part of the light will reflect. So this is only for those rays of light which is falling at less than 48 degree. But whichever rays of light is falling at greater than 48 degree, so this is 48, so all these rays of light, and this is the normal, are falling at greater than 48 degree. And in this case what happens, the rays of light are actually travelling from water and inside the test tube it is air, so that means travelling from denser to rarer, and the ray of light is falling at a greater than critical angle. Then all these rays of light will not refract, and they will all reflect in this way, and since a much amount of light is getting reflected from the wall of the test tube, from the outer wall of the test tube, the parts of the test tube shines brightly. So you can understand. So this is a one of the application of total internal reflection. Okay. Okay, next is diamond. You know, diamond is cut in such a way such that the rays of light, when it enters the diamond, now since the critical angle for diamond is very less, 24 degree, then most of the light which is falling inside the diamond is always greater than 24 degree, and therefore they reflect inside the diamond. So we can say that the light gets trapped, and therefore the diamond shines so brightly. You can understand. Any ray of light, say suppose it's going in this way, and rarer to denser, so it will bend towards the normal like this, and now when it falls on this surface, you see this angle, naturally this angle is greater than 24. You can understand 24 is a very small angle. So most of the ray of light which is falling, generally it is always greater than 24 degree. Now when it falls greater than 24 degree, what will happen? It will not refract, and it will reflect. Again when it falls, again it is greater than 24, so again it reflects. Here also, so unless the rays of light is falling in less than 24 degree, see suppose when the rays of light is falling at a less than 24 degree, then it is coming out, then there is refraction. And unless the rays of light is falling less than 24 and is always greater than 24, then the rays of light is actually getting reflected. So that's total internal reflection, and therefore light gets trapped, and therefore the diamond shines very brightly. So you can one of the major reason is that it has a very small critical angle, small value of critical angle. Okay. Okay, now mirage in desert. Now in a very hot desert, generally desert is very hot, the sand is also very hot, and the air is also very hot. Now what happens when an observer sometimes see a false impression of water bodies in a very distant part of the desert, means it looks like this, but as the observer comes nearer, he find nothing. So this is called mirage, and this is also due to total internal reflection. Now try to understand. In desert the sand is very hot, so the lower part is very hot, the sand is very hot, and therefore the air is also very hot in contact with the sand. And as we go higher and higher and higher, the temperature decreases. Temperature decreases. The temperature of the air. Okay. Generally, we know that as we go higher and higher, the density of the atmosphere decreases. But in hot sand, in hot desert, what happens? Ki the lower part of the air is less dense than the upper part, because the lower part is very hot. So here it is a hot air, and hot air rise up, and therefore the density is less. And that means as we go higher and higher in a desert, the density of the air increases. Okay, because it is due to the temperature. Now see, I have just differentiated this into layers. This is a layer of air. Now imagine this is layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. So you can see layer 1 is rarer medium with respect to layer 2. Again layer 2 is a rarer medium with respect to medium 3, and layer 3 is the rarer medium with respect to medium 4, because means layer 4, because as we go higher and higher, the density of the air is increasing, as we go lower and lower, the density is decreasing. Now when this observer can see this object, when rays of light travels to this observer, okay, after reflecting from a source, say sun, like this. Now when the rays of light is actually traveling to the observer, how it travels, you see, these are the layers of air. These are the layers of air. I am just taking one ray of light. Now when it say traveling, now you can see layer 4, layer 3, layer 2, layer 1. This is a denser medium and this is rarer medium. So the ray of light bends away from normal. Again 3 and 2 with respect to this medium and this medium. 3 is a denser medium and 2 is a rare. So it again bends away from normal. So there is a continuous bending of away from normal at every layer, every successive layers. Naturally a time comes, because every time you can see this, the angle of incidence is increasing. So naturally a time comes when the angle of incidence become greater than the critical angle for these two layers. And in that case what happens, now the ray of light will not reflect, it will not refract, it will reflect back. And when it reflects back, now it is again going from rarer to denser. So it is bending towards the normal. Again it is bending towards the normal. So if an observer, so it is, I have just shown you one ray of light, but you can understand there are infinite rays of light which is happening in this way, and it is following in this curved path. And if a person observes from here, you know, eye always traces the straight line path. So the person can see this object also, because many rays of light are going straight in this way, and the person can see another object, means the image, at this position. At this position, when the rays of light at this position, and therefore a person sees an inverted image of this tree. And when a person see from very far an inverted image of this tree, then the brain thinks that there is a false water body there, and it will and the person think that there is a water body, but as soon as the person comes near, the water body vanishes. So this is mirage. Okay, understand? Okay, so that's all. So this is what about the refraction of light concepts. Okay, so you should read the full chapter, and you should see the videos carefully and understand the concept. Okay, thank you.